Greetings, discreet defenders. I apologize for being out of the video making business for about 3 months. I have become obviously very concerned about the supply of ammunition. Please, nobody tell me where I can buy ammunition right now. I'm not interested in buying, I lack the resources to buy additional ammunition right now because I've recently found some and also recently found a 9mm. Yes. This is not a revolver, and that's a bit of a departure for me. But I do like Rugers. And about a decade ago, I had this gun called an LC9 by Ruger, and it had a terrible trigger. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this whole episode of gun history. I won't go into it at length. To make a long story short, they fixed the trigger. They called it the LC9s, or in this case, EC9s, because this is the base model, sort of cheap, fixed sights edition. Yes, it has an annoying external safety, but this is mainly going to be a range gun. In fact, mainly just a test gun for the channel, because I don't really intend to carry it. And here's why. All right, it's 16. It's not actually that light when you put in a real magazine. 17 2/3 ounces. 17 2/3 ounces is actually quite good for a 9mm. But notice the weight difference. I mean, it's almost 5 ounces. And again, I've dremeled off quite a bit of the excess overmolding on the Hogue Tamer grip. Not in back here where you got your recoil absorption pad, but, you know, undercutting a bit behind the trigger guard and such. I showed you guys that in a different video. But that actually took 3/4 of an ounce off the weight of this particular handgun. There's still enough rubber there to grip, so I like my modifications. Now, that weight difference, as I was about to say, is the reason why I will probably always carry this over this. I'm aware of the 3-round capacity advantage. I'm aware that some people consider 9mm to be a superior ballistic round to .38 Special, although I have my reasons why I doubt that. And that is why, ultimately, I purchased this firearm. These guns are about the same size, but I like the .38 Special because of the weight advantage. I like the .38 Special because it's a revolver, and therefore you don't have to worry about misfeeds. There are a list of things that can go wrong with a revolver that can't go wrong with an auto. I get that. I'm not going to try to launch into the argument about which is more reliable in general. There are some really, really reliable autos these days. But in this case, my guess is that this particular revolver, which I have never had a malfunction with, will outperform this particular auto, which I've also never had a malfunction with, in fairness, because I've never fired it. All right. Although I did fire its older brother, the LC9, and I never could shoot it accurately because of the horrible trigger. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, little informal unboxing. Let me show you what I have planned for the first sunny day that I have off work, hopefully this week. Found some 9mm ammunition. This is perfect for a specific comparison shoot with this. Let me just show you these rounds briefly. They're both target loads. They're both 150 grains. They're both, well, the Underwood load is obviously going to be a little more expensive. As a boutique loader, Underwood is going to have to charge more than Federal, but they're both relatively inexpensive, relatively widely available rounds. You know, give you an idea here. 5 of those versus, if I top off the LCR, or sorry, if I top off the EC9s, it'll actually carry 8. So we'll shoot 150 grain Syntec coated Federal 9mm standard pressure target loads against 150 grain Underwood high-tech coated standard pressure 38 special lead wad cutters. And we will see immediately which one is faster. The bullet weights are going to be the same. And you could probably estimate which one is going to penetrate further because of the shape, the necessary difference in the shape of the front end of the bullet. You can see there is a lot more surface area on the front of the 38 Special than on the 9mm, for obvious reasons. The 9s have to feed one by one into the chamber. The 38s are already put in the chamber manually before you start shooting the gun. Each of the chambers rotates into position. But here's a perfect beginning for my 9mm versus 38 Special comparison shoots. One more thing to show you before I close for the day, and that is I did finally acquire this ammunition for 38 Special, 120 grain Federal Punch. I'm not terribly excited about it. It seems pretty standard, 1,000 foot per second list velocity. It's not a terribly high-powered round as far as 38 Special is concerned. I'm guessing I'll get somewhere in the neighborhood of 900 feet per second out of the 1.9-inch barrel. But it is an interesting round. It should feature relatively controllable recoil impulse. And it is a really, really interesting hollow point cavity. It's almost like a modified XTP, like a wide mouth XTP bullet. And so I have hope, and this I'm probably going to put together if I can, if we can get some warm days and so forth. I'll probably put together a full denim and gel test to check this round for expansion and penetration out of the short-barreled defensive concealed carry category of 38 snub nose. Okay, thanks folks. This has been Dave with DDR. Have a great week. See you soon.